Hello, Virgo, and welcome to your September reading, and happy birthday to all the Virgos out there. Hope you guys get to do something super fun for your special day. So let's see what comes through here for Virgo. Okay, we have a higher power card. So this really is about tapping into that more higher self, super conscious aspect. Our egos, our lower mind are really going to try to keep us in that comfort zone. But while we have these goals and we have these ambitions, this really is the time to really prepare for the success that we're hoping for. And it might mean that we kind of need to get into the nitty gritty as it is Virgo season. We have to kind of get things really organized, get things prepared. We have to really put up those foundational building blocks so that we can build something substantial right now. But I think this is all being driven from a much higher consciousness type of place. It's like you're meant to be up here and you're kind of dragging yourself up to that higher plane through your decisions and through the actions that you're taking to back up those decisions. Because I think decisions is great, but it means nothing if you're not actually taking action to really do it. I think this is a fantastic time for making big changes, especially because Virgo ruled by Mercury, it's a mutable season, and that mutability, that flexibility that Virgo season offers is fantastic for changing behaviors and really focusing on your routine so that it supports the life that you're ultimately trying to build. Okay, so what else for Virgo? It says cracked open, it's happening for you, not to you. So there might be some events that happen, again, that kind of make you feel a little shocked, or put you through a shock, if you will, or that kind of force you to level up. It's kind of what I'm sensing. Like this is a moment where Virgo is being forced to level up. And if something hard is coming in, it's because the universe needs you to stand a little bit taller right now and to really maintain those boundaries, to maintain that sense of rootedness within yourself, to keep yourself very contained and to believe in yourself as well. And I think there's, I love this, the ever unfolding rose, because I often use that type of visual when we're talking about our human journey, right? We're this ever blossoming rose. We're constantly blooming. Old layers are falling off. New layers are emerging. And this feels like a moment of emergence for Virgo. Okay, so there is something powerful happening, a really powerful shift. So this is not a time to scale back or hold back in any way. I think it's a time for you to really put yourself out there and to not be afraid, because chances are you're going to have a significant degree of success. Okay. All right. We have the Emperor. Oh, I love the Emperor for you guys right now. Six of Swords and 10 of Cups. All right. First of all, the Emperor is that sense of inner authority that you're going to have over your life and over the choices that you need to make and the decisions that you need to make. Feels like no one can really tell Virgo what to do right now, and not from a stubborn place, not because you don't really want to listen to people, but because you have this plan and it's working and you're doing it and it's growing and it's developing and it's happening the way it's supposed to be happening. And I love the Six of Swords because we're seeing the movement that you've been needing to see for a while. We're seeing you moving away from those sticky situations, moving away from that hardship, moving away from those choppy waters, if you will, and finding your way toward the 10 of Cups, which is all about kind of I don't want to say like happiness in terms of the fleeting emotion of happiness, but it's more that constant state of joy and contentment and satisfaction. So, whatever it is you're doing, whatever endeavors you're embarking upon right now, they are guiding you directly to where you want to go. I think you know that, otherwise you wouldn't have started the journey in the first place. Like, exactly where you're supposed to be ending up. The Emperor is really committed though, okay? There's a deep commitment going on. He's really committed. He's extremely passionate, really focused, and in a way, really stubborn. So even though we're in a flexible time, the flexibility is really used to fully embody that emperor energy. Because if there's a part of you that's not your own internal emperor, and you're not behaving like the person that you need to behave as in order to get to that 10 of Cups, this is your moment to really step into those shoes and say, I'm going to be the one that actually does this. And I actually am kind of getting a feeling that you'll be breaking some, not only patterns for yourself, but maybe even some familial patterns, some familial karmic patterns throughout this process as well. And you're up-leveling. Can I be all dramatic as saying like up-leveling your bloodline, if you will? I know that's a little dramatic, but I kind of feel like you're up-leveling your bloodline a little bit. Okay, you're taking the whole family, the whole ancestral line up a few notches by some of the choices that you're making. I may not feel like it right away because I am sensing, right, cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. So I do sense there's something disruptive that is going to happen if it hasn't happened already. It is going to be disruptive. It is going to come in and cause you to level up like this. So it's going to be probably the best thing that ever happened. You'll be really, really grateful that it did. Initially, just a little bit of a shock. But the reason why it's happening is because you asked for something. You asked for it, you were manifesting it, you were trying to create it, and the universe said, all right, well, if you really want it, well, then here you go. Here's the opportunity to make it happen. And that may come in the form of like, oh my gosh, that's not what I intended. That's not what I meant, universe. Pulled the rug out from under me a little bit. It's like, yeah, well, you needed it too, right? You needed the rug to be pulled out from under you a little bit so that you could level up in this way. Okay, we have the Knight of Swords, the Hanged Man. Okay, I'm really, and the Devil. Okay, I'm really sensing you just not, I'm not saying you're not willing to listen to other people, but I think the people that you are going to be listening to, like the number of people is really small. The actual number of people whose opinion matters, whose advice matters. Everyone else, I think your ears are like really closed to what a lot of people are saying. And I look at this Knight of Swords. To me, it feels like a part of your determination. The fact that he's directly underneath this Emperor here tells me that you're not okay with this going slowly. You're not okay with this taking its sweet time. I think Virgo is a little bit in a rush, and so the leveling up is going to happen very quickly. The changes are going to happen very quickly. And you can do this, overnight, over a week, over a month. I mean, it's amazing how much our life can change in 30 days when we really want it to, when we really commit. And that's the Emperor, right? The real commitment there is coming in through the Emperor. And honestly, the Devil is the discipline component of this as well. And I'm looking at the Devil as the fight that we have against that ego that constantly wants us to stay put. This growth process is going to be uncomfortable. And I've been saying it all year long. You guys are probably so sick of me saying it. 2024 was never supposed to be comfortable, ever. And we have Pluto now dipping back into Capricorn as of September 1st. So Pluto is now at that 29th degree of Capricorn. Uranus is stationing retrograde also on September 1st. So this is a time, specifically Pluto moving into Capricorn, it's a time where we're really faced with, if we don't change, if we don't do this leveling up, my life is going to forever be like this. Now, I'm not saying you hate your life or anything, but chances are there is an area or a circumstance that you are trying to improve. And it's like in your heart of hearts that if you don't do this, if you don't step up, if you don't work a little bit harder or get things organized or get your stuff together, you're going to be here for a long time. And I don't think that's acceptable for Virgo. because it's not going to be acceptable for the higher power, for the higher self, for that super conscious aspect of you, because we're being so driven to expand right now, especially with Jupiter and Gemini. So the expansion component is really pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And we have this Hanged Man in the very center, which tells me first of all, you're going to be coming into a much, much higher consciousness. There are things that are beyond your control, therefore not worth worrying about. And you're going to be coming into new perspectives, but I think there's also a lot of faith that comes in through that Hanged Man as well. And that there's this inherent knowing that if you embody these things, these traits, these qualities, if you embody these things and you put your money where your mouth is and you do the things you say you're going to do, that faith that the results will come is strong. And I think rightfully so. It should be. And it's like you know in your heart of hearts that those results will absolutely show up. Okay, but the 10 of Cups is pulling you, because that's kind of like your destiny. It's your destiny to have that emotional fulfillment, to have that feeling of contentment, to have that sense of joy and love and togetherness, and to have that kind of unity, But I do think you're being challenged because there's a lot of unknown stuff. And it's hard to stay committed, and it's hard to really rush and push when you can't really see how this is all going to go, or you can't see how things are going to come in. You can't see how that person will show up or how that money's going to come in. You can't see how this is all going to develop. I look at this Devil and I am feeling fear a little bit as well. It feels like you really want the 10 of Cups. You really want that joy and that love and that success, and you want that life. But there's a little fear in you that says either you're not ready to have it, maybe you're still struggling with feeling deserving of it, maybe you feel like you have to work really, really hard in order to get it, and maybe some of you do. Okay, maybe some of you do. And maybe that amount of work kind of scares you and you're trying to avoid it. You're trying to procrastinate. You're trying to hide, or you're in denial or something. There could be something very negative going on with that Devil in terms of it working against you. So you have to be aware of the adversarial forces that are at play in your own mind so that they don't stop you. Because the Emperor and the Knight of Swords, in my opinion, a combination, they are unstoppable. The only thing that can stop them is themselves. And when they stop themselves, that is also just as much of a powerful force as it could be to plow forward. So the choice is yours. Are you going to use this power to grow and to reach those heights? Or are you going to use that power to completely slam on the brakes? Obviously, Virgo, I don't think you're going to want to slam on the brakes, right? Obviously, I think you're going to want to really push that gas pedal and make things happen. And the Six of Swords suggests that that's likely what you do. But I do think it requires big leaps of faith with the Hanged Man. It requires you to be okay with being in a limbo land for a little while. You got to be in a little bit of a limbo. You got to just waiting for the external world to kind of catch up with you, because it doesn't always catch up right away. There's always a lag, or is often, not always, but there's often a lag. And I feel like there's definitely going to be a lag with this Hanged Man. I'm definitely seeing really firm boundaries. I'm not going to lie, especially with the Emperor and the Knight of Swords. If there are other people that you're dealing with that are trying to come into your life, they're trying to impact you or to get into your head or whatever, this is also going to be one of those moments where you have to be very strong and firm and communicate like, hey, I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate when you say this. I don't appreciate when you do these things. I don't appreciate when you show a lack of respect by doing X, Y, and Z, right? And being very clear in that. being communicative, especially with the Knight of Swords. This is a Gemini card. Okay, so we want to communicate. And with your ruling planet Mercury now moving direct, still in Leo, but it will enter Virgo later on. But at least Mercury is moving forward now, so we can communicate really effectively. Okay, we have the Two of Coins, the Hierophant, and Six of Cups. Now, the Hierophant really matches with the Emperor quite well because it signifies the autonomy, the independence, the knowing of oneself, leaning on that internal wisdom to help guide you. Virgo, I have no reason to believe that you are not aligned. Now, I'm not saying everything in your life is perfect. I'm not saying there's not issues, but I do think at least your plan and your mind and your heart, they're all pointing in the same direction. So that needle on the compass is pointing exactly where you need to go, which is the Ten of Cups. So you have to have faith in this path that you see laid out in front of you, because those steps that you're feeling compelled to take, they're the right ones. I really don't want to see Virgo doubting themselves, because I think the doubt dampens the power and the commitment quality of the Emperor. Same with the Hierophant. We don't want to doubt, because then it's like questioning the higher power itself, which is not useful. Okay. That's kind of leaning in a little bit more to the devil. We're going to have to be very aware of that tendency to go toward, well, this is really hard, or, oh, maybe I'm not ready, and, oh, this is scary. And, that, because it's going to sneak in really little ways, like little thoughts where it says, oh, it's scary. I mean, that doesn't seem very devil-like. It doesn't seem all that bad. But if it is preventing you, then it's the devil energy coming in. It's the adversary. Okay. And to be aware of it is good, because then you can be like, hush. You can just kind of tell it to just shh, be quiet. Stop talking, and you're going to do it anyway. And that's really Hierophant Emperor qualities. Okay. The Hierophant, I always say, is being so aligned with truth, so aligned to that straight and narrow path. There's no wavering with the Hierophant. So you don't have to have wavering in your life right now. You don't have to have anxiety and all of this. I mean, if it's like a actual medical condition or something, that's different. But if you're normally okay, and you don't have to be all stressed about things, all you have to do is show up each day powerfully, okay, with the Emperor and the Knight of Swords. And also with the Two of Coins, you have to be really, really succinct in your decision making. And if you've got too much going on, which we know can very easily happen, when you have too much going on, you're going to either, if you can't juggle it all and you can't keep all the balls up in the air, you are going to have to deprioritize something. You're going to have to say, that can wait. I'm going to put something else on the front burner right now because it's more important and it's more likely to get me where I want to go faster. Again, there is an element of speed where Virgo does not want to sit still. It's going to be a very, I don't know, it feels a little bit opposite of what I would expect with Mars coming into Cancer, to be honest with you. Mars to me in Cancer feels a little bit more homey and relaxed, but maybe we're picking up on the more productive qualities of that this month. I'm just really getting this impression that you're not going to be able to sit still. And, with the Six of Cups, there does seem to be some element of the past coming in. Now, it may not be a person. It might be something more along the lines of, this is something you always dreamt of. Ever since you were little, ever since you were young, this is always what you wanted. This is what you always envisioned for yourself, or this is the version of you that will make your 8-year-old self very proud, or something along those lines. But there is a connection with the past coming through with the Six of Cups. And sometimes the past can be a real driver, and maybe it's none of those things that I mentioned. Maybe the Six of Cups is the, I don't normally see this with the Six of Cups, so this is a very odd interpretation. But I'm kind of getting a sense that the past, the way you've been living, even recently, the recent past is kind of becoming a bit of an illusion. And it's getting harder and harder to really hang on to the past, which you might even be currently living in the present, if that makes sense. I know maybe that doesn't make sense, but it feels like everything is kind of intangible right now. Like your present is your past, and it's not representative of really who you are. So it almost doesn't even feel very real. That won't apply to all of you. I don't even know where that came from. But it's like you're looking at your life, you're looking at this circumstance, and you're saying, this is not me. This isn't real. This isn't even, like, how did that even happen? It's so completely opposite of what I ever thought it would be, So if that's the case, and you're kind of coming to that place, looking around at your life and saying, this isn't even real anymore, I think that kind of frees up and clears up a lot of energy so that you can proceed and you can move forward because you don't feel so locked in, and it's like you may try to keep yourself locked in with that devil card. You may try, but it feels like things are just kind of dissolving. It's like water running through your fingertips. It's like it's really hard to hang on to stuff right now. And the more and more you try to hang on, the more and more difficult things are going to be. And it's like, that if you try to hang on, your life is just going to get harder. That the only way to achieve an easier life, to achieve easier circumstances, is to let go. And maybe that's a part of what the Hanged Man is asking you to do as well. To let go of this way of being, let go of this lifestyle, let go of this habit, let go of this narrative, let go of this self-talk. Just let go of this life and allow yourself to proceed into the next one. But it's like, it's not that the universe is just going to kind of carefully and gracefully plop you into the next life or the next chapter. There are really important steps that you need to take. And I think you know that with the Emperor and the Knight of Swords. I don't see Virgo backing down from this. I see you taking it as a challenge. And, I know this happened in August. It's not September. But I do know that big full moon in Aquarius, that super full moon, was very much, felt like the universe was like laying out a challenge and saying, I dare you to try. I dare you to go after it. I dare you to make the change. I dare you to fall in love. I dare you to go after that money. Like, I dare you, And now that we have eclipses this month, I didn't even mention that. We have an eclipse this month in Pisces. What degree is it at? It's at 25 degrees of Pisces, the full moon lunar eclipse on the 17th. So that eclipse is going to be, it's not a super strong eclipse. The next one is going to be a lot stronger, the one happening in October, and that'll be on October 2nd in Libra. I have to write it down to make sure I have all the dates right. But yeah, October 2nd, we have the one in Libra. That's going to be a lot stronger. But this one, it's still an eclipse season nonetheless. Okay, we're working our way into that radical change moment. So with the super full blue moon in Aquarius plus this next full moon in Pisces that's an eclipse, it's just kind of like, well, this really is the time to make these changes. It really is the time to kind of let the universe jolt you and you adopt this new way of being because it's what you want anyway. So you really get out of your own way. You stop being your own problems and you start allowing yourself to evolve. Okay, so it's a really beautiful month for you, I think. Let's see what else comes out. So the cards we're about to pull out are going to be the clarifiers. We're going to talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about all of these cards. We go really in deep with all these because I pull out a whole bunch. So we talk a lot about this story more in depth. So if you want to join, the link for that is in the description box in the pinned comment thread down below. So I'd love to have you. So let's take a look and see what comes through with the Emperor card. What else does Virgo need to know about the Emperor here? Okay. Yeah, the Emperor is definitely a choice, you know. You have to choose the path of the Emperor here. Six of Swords, we have the Empress, Queen of Swords. Beautiful, King of Coins. Well, there it is, right? Cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. And another Two of Coins, which matches down here. King of Wands. Four of Swords. Okay. All right. These three for the Hanged Man. Another Hierophant. I love to see the Hierophant on top of the Devil, because it's kind of like the angel and the devil on your shoulders there. And the Moon. Ten of Swords. Sun. Two of Wands. Okay, and last but not least, the Knight of Cups. All right, Virgo, so this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive. So if you want to join, you are more than welcome. Thank you all so much. I love you. Have an amazing month, and I'll talk to you soon.